Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a OMI is my homie podcast with Crypto Rain. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon, smash that super thanks button down below, super chats as well. Can OMI hit multiple narratives? VeVe launches Metaverse, that's the title, but how confident are you still in the crypto with it just being an absolute massacre in the streets? Do you think this last couple days might shake people's confidence a little bit? Do you think that I've seen some people on X say that the bull market is over, there's no alt season anymore because this is just absolute mayhem in the streets? What are your thoughts?
Thank goodness for that. Now, this is part of the cycle, and like in the Rainmaker chat, in my private Rainmaker chat, one of our guys posted a cycle, and it's a bear trap after first sentiment extreme. So it feels like momentum building, first sentiment extreme, like goes up, oh my gosh, we're in the bull run, and then we have this big bear trap. Oh crap, everything's over, it's going crazy. Like the fundamentals behind crypto are so strong. I've never in the 8 years in crypto seen fundamentals that are this strong heading into a bull run. It's crazy what is setting up. And so thank goodness people are just freaked out. And this is part of why so many people do so poorly in crypto, but why there's so much opportunity for those that understand. They literally just counter-trade sentiment. Like if everyone's freaked out at, oh my gosh, there's no bull run and this is the end, like that should be a buy signal. And when everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's never going to stop going up, then that's a sell signal.
So I think that I understand that when you say it, but and you're right. There's a ton of things like SEC dropping all of these lawsuits. They're saying, no, we're not going to pursue this. You have Eric Trump saying like, hey, this is a great time to buy the dip. You have Michael Saylor saying Bitcoin's on sale. So all the right people are saying all the right things. And, you know, Trump says he wants Bitcoin and America to be the capital of like crypto. But then Bybit gets hacked. You have people saying like, hey, there's these new scams now that kind of goes around 2FA. And then there's, you know, Trump keeps posting about these tariffs and the market just seems to hate that. Who do you think wins in this? I know it seems like a bear trap, but how do bear traps happen? How do these things work?
Well, so Paul often says, Paul, who joins me on Wednesdays for buy, wait, or sell, he's been doing price analysis for 30 years. And he says that, you know, the bull market always climbs a wall of worry, that like it just seems like, oh no, it can't happen. Oh, it's not going to happen. And then it does. And this is the perfect setup. So one of the things that happens before things go massively crazy is that all the longs get liquidated. And so there's usually some big event like this. So I think the events like this happen mostly in January, maybe early February, last cycle 4 years ago. And then Bitcoin resumed a massive climb, going all the way to 65,000. But it accomplished about half of its climb by this time, whereas we might be halfway up for Bitcoin if we don't have a super cycle. So not too different, other than the timing is just slightly different. It seemed like it happened a little bit earlier 4 years ago in January and February, where we had a massive pullback. People were running around saying no altcoin season. Oh my gosh, Bitcoin's going to crash from here. And, you know, I think it was at 30,000 at the time, and people were calling for 17,000 Bitcoin and a $12,000 Bitcoin. And yet then it climbed all the way to $64,000. And so they were just wrong. Alts then went massively up from there. And I remember my friend got pulled into that. My friend that, like, I called him and I said, hey, crypto's amazing. Like, prices are really good. I bought a lot of this Cardano thing. You should take a look at it. Ended up buying some Cardano and other things. And when this little dip happened, well, it felt to him like a massive dip. He then sold, and he was thinking, oh, he was going to ride it way down and then buy back way cheaper. And by the time he bought back in, prices had tripled from where he sold at. And so he lost 2/3 of his value. Now, he still ended up doing good because at least he bought back in, but he he would have gone a 3x over what he did. So I think he went to about 65,000 from that 5,000 he put in. He would have gone to $180,000. So it just handicapped his position entirely by just buying into this short-term FUD. Like, oh my gosh. And he was just freaked out. Why? Because all the crypto channels were talking about it, and all the sentiment was like, oh my gosh. And he didn't call me to ask me what I thought. He was just watching these other videos and like, oh, these people have larger audiences than Rain. They must know what they're talking about. It's like, yeah, cool. They must, because they have a larger audience. It must mean that they're great investors. But it doesn't. But that's the conclusion he comes to. And a lot of people come to that conclusion.
These are good points. I appreciate you going over that with us, just to kind of, so people can hear it from someone other than me, that like, hey, everything's going to be okay. And those memes made of me were like, I'm okay, but like the house is on fire. It's like, it's fine, guys. It's fine. So thanks for that. There's a lot to go over today, and we'll get to what VeVe has announced. We'll get to how it all affects OMI, how the market will. I don't know if you've heard about the NFC chipped fidgetals. It seems like a really cool concept where you have a article of clothing or something physical, but then the chip links to the digital item as well. That does sound like a cool concept. It might be a little confusing for some people. It might be something that I think people see that, oh, I buy one thing, but I actually get two things, one physical and one digital. VeVe has done this before. They'll do this again. But what are your thoughts on it?
My only problem with the NFC chips is they're battery operated, and those batteries like run out. So when they get it to a point where like you can just scan it and there's not a battery, like it's a magnetic thing or something, I'll like that better. Because then like 20 or 30 or 50 years down the road, you can verify its authenticity still. Yeah. So it's going the right direction. Like, that's cool. And a lot of people will probably get really excited about that. I think a better technology is one that's not battery maintained. So yeah. So how they do that, I don't know. I'm sure there's some ways to do it. Your credit card doesn't have a battery in it. So it has some kind of magnetic thing. At least I'm not aware. Maybe the new ones with the chips do have a battery.
No, it's a good idea. I mean, it seems like it's just a chip. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a battery. I don't see where the power source would be. I mean, I guess those old school video games, like the ones on Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, those batteries, the internal ones, they lasted for like 15, 20 years. So I feel like
20 years is decent, right? It would be nice for something that lasted longer, because some of these things that come out now, like people are buying iPhone 1s and they're paying like $20,000 or $50,000 for an inbox iPhone 1, and down the road those will probably be worth even more. But it's like unopened package, and they know that they're able to look at it and tell if it's legit. I guess a really good scammer could like fake the box and everything. But the NFC chips, if they run out of battery, the longer those batteries last, or the more permanent the scanning technology is, the better it is.
Good point.
It doesn't mean that they won't do well. It's just a lot of times things do well in the short term because we're in a bull market. Of course, it's going to just keep going up, but the longevity on those might not last. If they are battery operated, those batteries are going to go out in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years for like verifying the NFT chip or the chip.
That's fair. And obviously getting things that last a long time, or things that'll have, I forget what that's called. Is it the Lundy cycle? Lundy test, where they, after X amount of time, then it shows that you have staying power. Something that, again, that seems to be a battle between like the bulls and bears. You have the people that are positive saying like, hey, the market was not wrong in saying that the metaverse is going to be a huge thing. It's just that things went up too fast. They got too big too fast. Same thing as the .com bubble in the late 90s. The bears think that NFTs and metaverses are last cycle. It's all about AI now and fundamentals. I don't think the market really ever gets this wrong. I do think they get timing wrong a lot. And again, hyping up things to have billions, if not hundreds of billions in value, when there's really not much there. I do think now with the with VeVe launching their VeVeverse and their hashtag VeVeverse launch that they're promoting, it does seem like you're going into that Lundy cycle with, they do have staying power. And even though metaverses might have got a little blown out of proportion last time, I do believe because of the IP they have and other aspects of their business that we'll go over later, this is one of those things that I think is really bullish. I don't know if anyone really sees that right now. I know a couple people do. But what's your take on the metaverse at large, what it could do for VeVe and OMI, and just, again, general thoughts?
So when the digital narrative runs, because what Bitcoin is a digital version of currency, but it gets people thinking about where this digital world is going. And so then all these narratives run, even if it doesn't fully make sense. Like the metaverses that were launched in 2021, or they were launched prior, but they became huge in 2021. Decentraland and Sandbox, their tokens went several hundred X. Their land went up a ton. Like everything related to them went crazy. Well, the pendulum swings too far each way. So it swung too far to the top. It then swung too far downwards. But this idea of a metaverse is going to do well. So it'll do well again. Like when everyone's thinking about digital, you'll have another metaverse swing. Now, will VeVeverse be included in that? Probably. We're going to find out real soon how good the VeVeverse is. And the more it allows people to showcase their collectibles, I do think one of the best things they did with the VeVe app from the early release was having your vault that you could set things up, which was a major smart thing of having a showroom for your collectibles. So the VeVeverse is kind of an extension of that, which is a great idea. And if they make it easy for other people to click and come see your showroom, like on social media, that you can easily share your showroom and people can click and enter it and look around, that would be amazing. Then the VeVeverse will end up being a really big deal. How much are people going to run around day to day in the VeVeverse and have parties in the VeVeverse? I think way less than people think. Although during that digital hype cycle, there'll be a bunch of get-togethers. People are like, this is so cool because it's new. And then they'll get like bored of it. So it's kind of like when you buy that laser tag toy for Christmas and you run around, you play with it for like 2 weeks. And then you're like, the guns don't work so well and the receptors don't work so well. And, it's not as fun as Nerf Wars. And then you kind of like set the laser tag thing down and forget about it. And then it's, going to a garage sale. It might end up like metaverses might end up going that way. Now, the VeVeverse, if they're allowing people to check out their vaults, that will have some permanence that people will keep using. And so like when people start using the metaverse is when the games in the metaverse are cooler than games that they play in other things. Then the metaverse will become a big thing. Like Ready Player One, the reason like that metaverse was so cool is that's where the games were that people played was within that metaverse. And that's where the cool games were. So right now you have these metaverses without the cool things inside them that bring everyone to use it all the time.
Agreed. So they will allow people to get into your space. I think 30 to 40 people max right now. So that is one of the limitations, is that you can't have like a 200-person party, which sounds great, but that also might be something good. Hey, only 30 or 40 people get in here. That does mean it can be exclusive. Now, obviously, you can, or you should be able to stream from there. Like I can't see why you wouldn't be able to put on your metaverse glasses, whether it's from Quest or wherever, and being able to say like, hey, here's what I'm seeing, and here's me streaming at the same time. So I think even though most people won't be able to get into this super exclusive party, if you could at least stream it, I think people can feel like they're there, kind of like those pandemic concerts that they had in 2020. So that's a big thing. I don't know if we're going to be able to drive these cars right away. It does seem like we will be able to at some point. But what might be most bullish for OMI in this case? Is it the fact that it's going to be listed as a utility token, or I'm sorry, a metaverse token on exchanges whenever we get on them? Would it be exchanges in general? Would it be the fact that, hey, we're going to be able to have, I think Dr. Profit posted something the other day, saying like you'll likely be able to go in and buy like trees and plants and shrubs and stuff like that to decorate, which will accelerate OMI burn. What from this announcement might you see as most bullish for OMI?
Well, OMI's going to do just fine. The digital collectibles narrative itself is going to run. So everything related to the VeVeverse that goes well there is just bonus, in my opinion. Like right now, look back to October 2023. Everyone got super hyped about blockchain gaming, and it went in the middle of a bear market. It went 10 to 30x depending on the project. And like it wasn't the bull market yet. It was still like late bear market, and yet 10 to 30x because that, and there weren't even new people coming in. This was just money transferring within the crypto community. And now it's died out. Everyone's forgot about blockchain gaming. Does that mean blockchain gaming is dead? No, it just means the narrative is out of focus. Right now, digital collectibles narrative is also out of focus. But in no way is this dead because digital collectibles are superior in many ways to physical collectibles. And when the world goes through this digital wake up, this digital awakening that I saw in 2017, I saw it again in 2021, and we'll see it again this year. They'll be like, oh my gosh, Disney. Oh my gosh, you could buy this collectible. Oh my gosh, we got Marvel, we got Iron Man. Oh my gosh, look at this app. What it can do. This is so crazy. I can take pictures with Iron Man. I can take pictures with Hulk. You know, my kids can play around with this and be in the picture with Hulk. That's so crazy. Darth Vader can do the choke thing, and my kids can play around like they're getting choked. That's so amazing. And they'll want the token associated with it. The digital collectibles will go crazy. And that's just going to happen. And it's just the patience to let it play out. Like all the right things are setting up. It's just this little lull right now. Trump coming in has not focused on crypto yet. He's focused apparently on some amazing other things. That's really exciting that he's doing. I can't believe a U.S. president is doing the things that he's doing. Like, you know, talking about auditing Fort Knox and like going through all these government agencies and actually seeing if the government workers are like good at their job. Like who does that? Just no politician ever. And so crypto hasn't come around. It's just been focused on this, which creates some uncertainty because he uses tariffs like a sledgehammer. And he's like, we're going to tariff the whole world unless you drop your tariffs on us. And so one thing's going to happen, like either they're going to drop the tariffs on him or he's going to match the tariffs. And then later they're going to drop the tariffs on the US. And so we'll see how that plays out, but it creates uncertainty. And markets don't like uncertainty. So with all that uncertainty, because he is shaking things up, I think he's shaking things up for the better, but nobody loves, even if you agree with it, that little shakeup is very, very uncomfortable. And so the markets are in this very uncomfortable stage where the future seems uncertain. They don't know which way to go, and markets don't like uncertainty. Couple onto that, North Korea hacking Bybit, or whoever hacked Bybit, probably North Korea. Like, yeah, it's just got the markets a little bit in a panic, which creates an amazing buy opportunity. I'm married and I promised my wife a house. I'm in this position where I'm buying a house. I'm having to sell some crypto right now. But I was going to pay cash. I was like, F that. I'm getting a loan. And so I'm getting a loan for the majority of it because I selling at these prices. I'm just like, oh, woman, you are costing me so much. I love you, but you have no idea the opportunity cost. These are not sell prices. So if I had much hair left, you know, if it was easier to grab, I would have pulled it all out by now. But yeah, oh well, it just is what it is. When you're married, you make decisions. If I was like single, I would just be like, F that. I'm just going to lease again for another year. You know, who cares? I'll rent a 1-bedroom apartment if I need to.
I feel you on that. I have much experience in that area. Mr. MC1, how's it going? And hi all. VeVe is going to the next level, a place to manifest our collectibles to the rest of the world, and the quality is awesome. Have you seen some of these vaults and spaces that people are building?
Nope.
It is really impressive. And some look better than others just because there's different quality in graphics cards and computers and all that. But even the ones that look like good, they're really good, and the ones that look incredible are like, oh my god. And I see that that people really embracing that change. Is everyone in the world going to love the metaverse and AR? Most people will probably never even step foot in it. But I mean, like, there's only 7% of people in crypto in general. So I don't expect the majority of people to get on board with this right away. But I think that people can, a lot of times where cryptos go, they go to where they shouldn't because people believe that's where they can. And even though the fundamentals aren't there, you could have some token that might only be worth or should only be worth maybe 10 million, but it can go to a couple billion because people that honestly believe that's where it can go, they hodl, they don't sell, and the market tends to go crazy. When you have Trump going in and saying, hey, we're going to audit Fort Knox and see what gold is there, and then you have people in his ear that are saying, here's a real decent way we can really buy Bitcoin for cheap, essentially free. You go in and you sell the gold that you have. It makes that gold worth a little bit less for the people that still hold it, like China, Russia, etc. And then you buy up all this crypto. If that can happen, and does TA really matter at that point? Where people are like, okay, well, based on these charts and these lines, Bitcoin go to 250 or whatever. But if you have the government selling gold to go then buy Bitcoin, and then you have some people from Doge that are able to get these like $5,000 checks for everyone that's been paid. Does this create that perfect storm? And where does crypto go in this perfect storm if that happens?
Yeah, so if they audit the gold and it is there, the valuation of it was like $40 an ounce or something. I think that's held ever since like FDR did this weird thing. Like FDR, I know history books are kind of FDR. They shouldn't be. He mandated everyone sell their gold to the U.S. for, say, $20 an ounce or whatever the price was. Then he announced, once they had bought back all the gold, you weren't allowed to privately own it anymore. You had to sell it to the U.S. government. It sounds like something out of a different country than the U.S. But no, FDR did this. It's the same one that interned people who were Japanese descendants. Not a good guy, in my opinion. But oh well, history books seem to love him. That's only because they're covering up a lot of the stuff he did. But one was the gold thing. And then he declared, once he had it, he declared it was worth $40 an ounce, so that then he could double the money supply. So he could print way more money so that he could then fund all these big government spending and projects they wanted to. So he's like the opposite of Donald Trump. Plow massive amounts of money into government programs and work so everyone thinks you're such an amazing guy. But, he just artificially doubled. I think the price has been stuck there since then in this valuation if the gold is there. So if they reevaluate it, gold's going to be worth a ton more, which frees up some liquidity if the gold is there. I question if the gold is there. And if they go there and it's not there, well, Lucy has some explaining to do. But also, like, market's going to go crazy for a bit. Like, I think market's dumb just because they're like, what the heck? And, whales use that kind of excuse to short the heck out of things, liquidate all the longs further. And then I think that's very bullish for crypto. So either case is bullish for crypto. The gold is there, and then that frees up a lot of liquidity because they can then like pay off some of the debt if they want. They can actually loan out more money if they want by the reevaluation because they're a lot more solid than it looks like they are if that gold is there, if they reevaluate it. They could even sell some and buy some Bitcoin, which would be really smart. And a number of people in the Trump administration talked possibly about that. If it isn't there, then it's like, you know what? Accountability, F, we're, been F by the government, people in the US will feel. We want something verifiable. And what's verifiable? Well, Bitcoin. You can verify it's on the blockchain. You can see who owns what. And if you find out which wallets are the government's, you can check that it's there. And so either way is very bullish for crypto in the medium term. In the short term, I don't know if they get in there and like all the gold isn't there and it's a bunch of like, I forget if it's tungsten that weighs almost the same, bunch of tungsten bars that are made to look like gold. But it's not actual gold, then that in the short term will probably freak everyone out for maybe even a month or two.
Yeah. I think that's what people's knee-jerk reactions are. They tend to be, oh, this is bad, sell everything. Yeah, I mean, that'd be great for people that are waiting on money to come in and possibly get things at Bitcoin at like 75 or get ETH at like 1900 again. That'd be nice for some people. Yeah, it's going to affect the people that are waiting. But like you said, they liquidate longs, they go in and get it cheap. And our good friend Fernando Jimenez is saying market manipulation at its best. Large companies in Wales liquidating the small investors. HODL, DCA, buy the dip. Doing our very best.
Yeah, like he nailed it. This is just market manipulation, and they pounce on this, and they get people who are new just to sell at this time, and they get the prices down. They start off the liquidations by selling some things and taking some shorts, and then selling some things, and then they usually coordinate that with some articles that freak people out. And then they let people with all the major YouTube channels that have big audiences then go, oh my gosh, it's going to go to $12,000 per Bitcoin, because that's how you get a bunch of people to watch your video. Is say something outrageous like that. If you're trying to massively grow your audience, but not care if your audience is right, that's exactly how you do it. And so a bunch of them do that, and they'll panic everyone and, sell. And then the whales use that opportunity to then turn around and go long after a bunch of longs were liquidated, and they close out their shorts, make a bunch of money, buy a bunch of longs, and then they take the ride up.
Yeah. As far as like bullish news, you have Paul Grewal going over 90,000 followers over on X saying, case dismissed. 2 words that every defendant in every case yearns to hear. Today, we can announce upon full commission approval, SEC is dropping our case. There'll be no settlement compromise. A wrong will simply be made right. He's the chief legal officer of Coinbase. Now that one of the reasons that VeVe and OMI had said, hey, this is why potential exchanges might be hard to get on, is because if they're already being investigated by the SEC, it might behoove us to not try to bring attention to ourselves. 100% fair point. Same thing with, that's why they need Stacker, because Dapper Labs had paid millions of dollars because they had their utility all within the same ecosystem. It seems that all their ducks are lining in a row. Their chickens are about to hatch. What does this do for OMI mid, short, long term, however you want to answer, if they can get on these exchanges as a metaverse token, and obviously giving people a reason to buy it? Do you foresee these exchanges coming soon? Do you think we have to wait until Stacker is fully rolled out and stuff like that? And again, how does that affect the token?
I don't know when, so big question in my mind is when OMI on Coinbase. And it'll be a big deal, because I have a lot of people that ask me that don't know crypto very well. And it's like, I am definitely not going to take the time to walk them through how to get a MetaMask wallet or Coinbase decentralized wallet. And they're like, oh, how do you buy OMI? I'm like, YouTube it, watch a bunch of other people, because I'm not going to walk them through it. I don't have the patience. That's not what I'm good at. I'm just good at economics and psychology of people behavior. Walkthroughs, there are tons of people on YouTube that are good at that. That's not me. Watch their videos. But when you can just get a Coinbase account and buy OMI directly there easily, oh, perfect. That'll be great. I do think at a certain point, like, meme coins tend to run really well because brand new people can wrap their mind around them. And because of this weird environment that Gary Gensler's SEC created, where meme coins are far enough out from being able to be declared as security, that exchanges had very low risk in listing meme coins on them. So it created this world where brand new people that don't know what the hell they're doing could just FOMO into meme coins on all the major exchanges. But they couldn't buy substantive coins, because substantive coins might be considered a security under Gary Gensler. Like, in fact, they were suing Coinbase. You listed all these things that are a security. And it was not like proven law or whatever. And lawmakers didn't say that at all. And it was, probably never going to be upheld by the court system. But it gummed up the system purposely. I think they felt like their chance of winning weren't very good, but in the meantime, they super gummed up the system.
Yeah.
And notice how Gary Gensler was buddy with FTX. He had no problem with FTX listing Cardano and a bunch of other ones that they went after with Coinbase. But with Coinbase, they weren't donating $100 million to the Democrat Party. So, Coinbase, oh, we're going after you. And I'm glad to see the current SEC dropping that. That was always some BS. So I'm glad to see it. They're going to be, exchanges now are going to feel like there's more clarity and feel like less the regulators are just looking for an excuse to like pull them over. So they're going to be a lot more likely to list tokens. Thank goodness, because that really put a hold on a lot of listings of tokens, and you still could get listed, but you had to make the case to the exchange, and you usually had to put up all kinds of money for the market maker, like hundreds of thousands, like $750,000 for some exchanges, of a lot of liquidity, in some cases millions, to get listed on a new exchange, and it just expensive. Whereas in an environment where the SEC isn't so overbearing and so crazy, perhaps with some tokens, the Coinbase would have come to them and said, hey, we'd love to list you. Let's make it easy for you to get you on our thing.
Agreed. As stuff like that happens, and let's say we get listed as a metaverse token, I know not every narrative runs at the same time, but do you think it's possible that OMI can get the digital collectibles narrative and then the metaverse narrative? And because a lot of digital collectibles will be available in the VeVeverse and potentially even gaming, do you think we get 4 different narratives of AI, of gaming, of metaverse, and digital collectibles? Or is that just like Chavez, be happy with one and that's it?
There's that chance it compounds, right? That like as the metaverse narrative goes crazy, people go crazy for OMI. At a certain point, like OMI is like the redheaded stepchild. It swung so far up in the last bull market that what goes up does come down. And the higher it goes up, the more it has to retrace. So just think of it like a pendulum swinging. And though it never quite goes back to the lows from before, when it swings up that high, it's going to swing back tremendously. And the hard thing about it is you don't know where it's going to swing back to. So you might start dollar cost averaging, and then it goes down a bunch. And then your dollar cost average goes down a bunch. I mean, most of the audience has experienced that. I know I sure as hell have. And if I knew it would go to these prices, I would have just had all that money sitting on the side waiting. Looks like my camera decided to crap out on me. Would have had all that money sitting on the side waiting for when it goes absolutely crazy, but I don't have that magic crystal ball, so I just have to take my best guess at it. And that best guess means that my dollar cost average was a lot higher than what the price is right now.
Same. Hoping that we get, I mean, I'm so curious to see what the next one is. It seemed like it was going to be either AI or NFTs, and then Trump had released the Trump coin, and then you have you see like memes kind of extend a little longer. But it does seem like though now that money has been flowing straight from Solana. So dude, Solana's down like 50% from the inauguration. And it's been flowing into ETH. And do you think the market's starting to get more mature? Do you think that, hey, this time you might have a bunch of the dumb money that's really pissed off now because they got rugged and they're only going to buy stuff with legit revenues? Or is that just wishful thinking on my part and humans will be like, nah, they're still going to buy memes?
So utility is there will be like, people will learn the value of like substance, quality and substance over just crap. But meme coins attracted a bunch of people last time too. And then the money usually flowed to more intelligent things. But the meme coins ran crazy last time too. And there's even more meme coins, and they get a bunch of people in and they usually buy high, hoping it goes higher. And it often does go higher. And then it gets pulled out from under them, sometimes straight up rugged, sometimes, boy, my camera is just having problems today. Sometimes they make some money, but they rarely sell in time to make their money, and they end up behind. And in the meantime, they're starting to figure out what this digital revolution is about, and then they start buying smarter. But remember the case of buying high. Like I've been saying for the past like 4 months, is like Solana is already 30x from the bottom. Like you missed it. Don't be buying Solana here. I know everyone's saying Solana is just going to keep going up. Look, if I want to grow a huge audience in YouTube, here's the metric to do it. You talk about what's already high, and you give reasons why it's going to go higher. And you get lots of people watching your videos, and you get lots of people subscribing to it because they're all like, yay, yay. And they don't even necessarily blame you when it goes wrong. And so you get a really big audience doing that. However, your audience does poorly in crypto. But the incentives are all misaligned, because when you're trying to give people substance, the camera doesn't like me today. The problem with substance is that it's like eating vegetables. Like people want to eat the sweets, and like I want a candy bar, and the candy bar is like Solana's at 300, and here's why it's going to go to 1200, and and buy more Solana, and dollar cost average Solana. It's so great, and then it goes down to like 150, and then they're like, oh yeah, darn it. Oh, what else should I buy that's hot? Then they chase into something else that's up. And this is why so many people lose money in crypto. When I say so many, it's 89% of people do very poorly, extremely poorly, or just poorly. So because they're doing all wrong. And the reason they do it all wrong, part of it is incentives of the YouTubers are all wrong. So cool.
I feel you. What's up, Sleeping? How's it going, fam? Carlos Reese just saying hey to everyone here in the chat. Bill Gardner saying he's 7th. You're clearly like 18th, but yeah, 7th. We'll go with that. SEC dropped OpenSea, Robinhood, and Coinbase. Heck yeah, they did. Oh, hey, there's you. There's quite a bit to be excited for. Obviously, VeVeverse this week. Then you have the, I'd say, Stacker rollout probably in the next several weeks after that. And then the affiliate marketing program. This is something that they've kept pretty close to the chest. They've put another marketing job out there before. I think that was yesterday. And I'll go over that one sec. I want your opinion on it. Oh my God, there's so many text messages here. I'm so sorry. So what they had yesterday, what I decided to go over was the new jobs. How often do you keep up with them on the Bamboo HR job listings?
I don't.
Oh, okay, no problem. So a few months ago, they had head of growth marketing. They had a life cycle lead, and those are gone now, meaning that they had filled those positions. They did have a campaign lead at some point, and then it went away, and now it seems to be back. But that's another marketing job that they're doing. They've been hiring all this marketing. In your experience, when teams do this, especially ones as big as VeVe and OMI, how long after their hires do they go and begin to execute?
There's always some ramp up time. It depends on their skill, but like we've seen them continue to make good hires. As to how quickly they start executing depends on their role and what is it they're executing. Like we've seen them working on their digital affiliate program, and they've had that person hired for 2, 3, 4 months now. We haven't seen the digital affiliate program rolled out, but that doesn't mean he's not working on it and executing on it. It just hasn't been rolled out yet. So how long these new people take to roll out, it depends on the job and the person.
Agreed. We've had something I'd gone over the other day. I want your opinion on it as well to see, hey, how often can you go to the tank for this? The Epico Season 2 drops that they had, it was My Collectibles, it was Corey, and then it was VeVe Magic. My Collectibles and Corey officially do have jobs with VeVe Magic, more, I think, a little bit of a mascot. And I know she does some stuff for them as far as spaces and stuff like that. But to me, it seems that VeVe has unlocked this magical well that they can keep going to because they have the mints right. Epico is able to do it for them. And they seem to have the first time Epico dropped this, okay, yeah, you had Eagle over there, but you had David and Dan, and people really wanted David and Dan, so it sold out. And I didn't think that this would sell out, at least not this quickly. I figured it would make between 20 and 30,000, but it sold out $52,000 worth in just like 2 hours. Do you think that they should continue to do this once a month, because this way it's an extra 50K? It's shaking your head. No, why not? What is wrong with my?
Well, it'll. So it's kind of like, you love pizza, right? Oh man, I brought 2 pizzas that all got eaten by everyone like really quick. So I'm gonna buy pizza for everyone every day. It'll fall off, right?
Yeah.
So the appetite was really good for something like that, but not if you're releasing it every month. No way.
I mean, it is different characters though. Like, it's not like group. Well, we have like 8 different group drops. We have like 5 different Lambo drops. Yes, these are all Epico characters, but they're different. And I know, like, well, they're different types of Groots. These are different types of Lambos. Clearly, Chavez, if you were into cars or if you're into Groot that much, you would know. It's like, I get that. And these are different video game characters in that Epico universe, but they are different, and they are based on people that allow us.
Yeah, it depends on the personalities, right? So if they made a Randy Chavez one, yeah, that would sell out. It would do well.
I mean, they could go to like, if they made a Crypto Rain one, Dr. Stuff one, I'm pretty sure that would do really well also, probably sell out as long as these numbers are the same. Obviously, if they made 20,000 Crypto Rains, I love you. I don't think that would sell out.
Some break dancing moves. Yeah,
dude, that'd be awesome.
We'll agree to that.
So I feel like if you keep getting people, you get Dr. Profit, you get Foster and Puddin', you get a couple of these whales on, you get Mr. M. So I feel like if they keep doing that, and maybe they can't do it forever, but maybe they could do that every.
You can't do that for forever. You'll burn it out, right? So can you do it for a couple months? Yes, but then, you know, after they have all the major personalities on there, right? And then they're going to have to go deeper into, like, the community is really deep, and like people that have gone to all the events, like a lot of the community knows exactly who they are, but they'll start getting to where it'll lose its effectiveness after a while. Yeah. Kind of like pizza is going to do really good today and tomorrow and the next day, but then it starts to fall off.
That's a fair point. It does fall off every now and then. I mean, I'm not going to
reset it, and they do like one, and then a month later, and then they wait a couple months. That'll work.
No, fair point. VeVeverse does look cool. The guy says, "Yep, earned 2017, not to chase. Find what hasn't run." That's a fair point. Very fair point.
Big A, I always pictured you looking different than that.
Than a little Saint Bernard pupper.
Just kidding. That's his dog.
Yeah, as a big old doggo.
Hard time.
Love doggos. Anyway, they have been doing giveaways a lot. Orange Bag Lady said she won a first secret rare in an O'Milly space gifted by VeVe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they apparently they do this a lot. They're doing it right now just through the stuff that they have that they've held back. It's really cool that they're doing that, because we were wondering, hey, what are you going to do with these things?
Yes.
Rockman Blockchain's doing that now. How much is too much for giving away stuff? Because at some point, again, probably down the line, you would dilute the market a little bit. If you give away all of these secret rares, you know, might dilute that. Or do they keep doing that to keep people engaged?
Keep doing it, especially in the bull run. Keep doing it now to keep engagement. Really reward those that are staying engaged. It will keep engagement higher. And then as things go crazy, the engagement is going to be through the roof on that kind of thing. So they've set aside so many of those for the past like 4 years. They have tons that they can give away. It's not like they give away a lot at a time. Just keep doing the giveaways. It's a fantastic idea for engagement. There are a lot of people that are joining VeVe and they don't have a lot of extra disposable income. They'll put some in there, but they might have a lot more time than money, and you'll drive engagement from that. And then they'll tell their friends about it, and that will grow engagement. So I love that idea.
We have people. So Mr. Rolex posted the other day, there you have it. The long-awaited VeVeverse is finally here. Looks like you're going to have to wait and find out because, again, the NDAs weren't lifted at that point. They're lifted now. I think that in itself is likely a fairly incredible accomplishment that they had dozens of people in there and nobody leaked anything, at least not to my knowledge. I feel like if somebody did, I would have known because everyone would be asking me to go over it.
Yeah.
What do you think that says about the community? What do you think that says about and the reward for that is VeVe said, hey, we're going to have a free version and a premium version. Everyone who is in the beta test, you get the premium version for free for a year. What does it say about the community and VeVe at large?
Yeah, I think that's cool. Look, the VeVe community, VeVe attracts really high level people. So to have people like Dr. Profit or Mr. MC1 ETH, Sanjay, and VeVe Magic, and a lot of people that are attracted to just being in this community, a lot of them are high level people. They have a lot of people wanting their time for a lot of different things. And yet they're not only like paying attention to what's going on with VeVe, but in OMI, they're actually putting their time, effort, and in some cases money into growing the community. That's something special. That's something magic. And a lot of people don't realize how big that is, that you can attract this level of people to not only buy your stuff, but come participate, spend their own money to participate. It's an amazing sign. I think a lot of people don't get how big VeVe is going to be, how big OMI is going to be. And that's okay. Money flows to those that have golden vision. I've been sharing this idea a lot. Like I thought about, like, people say this saying all the time that, oh yeah, you have to make money to, or have money to make money. And that's not true. You have to have an understanding of how to use money to make money. So there's a lot of people that get inherited wealth that don't know how to use money well, and their money just flitters away from them. You can have no money at all, but if you have an incredible knowledge of how to use money to make money, you can borrow from others, put that money to use, make a whole bunch of money with that, pay back a return on investment to the people who lent you the money, and you make an incredible amount of money. So that knowledge of how to make money, now that isn't just born with anyone. You have to learn and acquire that. And at first you're bad before you're good. Like I talk to people in the crypto space about, you need to become a savage crypto investor. And crypto is just the current evolution of the internet that's going to be absolutely massive for the coming 10 years. But after this is going to be something else. And I don't know what that something else is going to be. But those investor skills of learning how to take smart investments where the odds are stacked in your favor will pay you dividends the rest of your life. But it is a learning process, and you are bad before you're good. But people like Sanjay and Dr. Profit come in, they see VeVe, they see OMI, they see what's going on here. And these guys know how to take money and turn it into a lot more money. There's a reason they're interested in VeVe and OMI tremendously, because the value here is tremendous. And for those that have a lot of experience with business investing and they see what's going on with VeVe and OMI, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And they're here and they're donating their time, they're participating. They're even finding ways to participate in helping VeVe and OMI reach their goals, like Dr. Profit is. That's a really good sign. And I don't care that a lot of people don't get it. That's so normal with businesses. In fact, almost everything that I made really good money in, tons of people told me I was crazy and they didn't get it. Well, it's true. They didn't get it, but that didn't mean it wasn't an amazing opportunity. They just couldn't see it because they didn't have what I call golden vision of seeing the components and how those could come together to make something great.
Speaking of something great, well, I'll get to something great in a second. First off, shout out to Tammy Hanna watching us from the Denver airport. Let's go. She's sent me a photo of a drink. She's like, yeah, it's a good time. It's like, oh, okay, great. Also, this is just one of the coldest lines I've heard saying from Abe saying, keep calling OMI a burning house. I run into burning houses. Like, God damn, that is so fire. No pun intended. That is, God, that's so badass. Yeah, same. Agreed. So you have the contingency plans. I wouldn't even say contingency plans. VeVe has the plan like, hey, as soon as this is ready, and this is ready, send it out. But we're not in that narrative yet. And I feel like there's also a secondary plan of, hey, this stuff is ready, but don't release this stuff yet. And this stuff we want to release when that narrative hits. what we know is coming is obviously VeVeverse, Stacker, likely exchanges, and was that the affiliate marketing. What do you think is part of their secret plan? Do you think any new licenses? Do you think any games? Not sure.
I don't know. Obviously, some secret licenses that we don't know of. Sure, that would be a given. Games, I don't know. Incorporating games into it, maybe they're working on that. Maybe they're not. Already, what they're working on that we know, those things you just listed off, those come together. Those are building blocks for something massive already, right? So the affiliate marketing program, like VeVe's already delivered an amazing augmented reality app with high quality, amazingly high quality digital collectibles with the brands that people like and love. It's freaking incredible. It's just most people aren't focused on crypto and the digital revolution and digital collectibles yet, but they will. When Bitcoin hits all-time highs, there will be this massive awakening and a shift into the digital world, and tons of newbie money will be coming in, and they'll be able to wrap their minds around really easily this idea of digital collectibles. VeVe, they'll be like, what's the token associated with it? OMI, how can I get it? If OMI's listed on Coinbase, then it'll be easier for those with money. And, people in the US have a lot of money. The other place that people have a lot of money is Korea and parts of Asia. Per capita, they spend very liberally on collectibles and video games and things that they like. So that would make it really easy for them to FOMO into VeVe digital collectibles and the OMI token.
Yeah, crazy rich Asians. I feel like that's a show for a reason. I said in Earth, I've seen it before. In Earth 2, they had America was the biggest, and it still is the biggest country, is the most expensive country to buy land in. But when I saw, I'm still mad they got it from me. Saw these two South Koreans. They had purchased the land that the Statue of Liberty was on for like $50,000. I was like, oh shoot, guys, South Koreans are coming. They're going to go into these spots. They're going to buy up all of the crazy good locations in every single country, and then they're going to leave. And that's exactly what they did. I feel like when South Koreans get in here, they're going to buy up the Disney stuff. They're like there's a reason why Trump says like, hey, China, you're not allowed to buy farmland in America, because he wants Americans to have these like good things in the country. And I guarantee you, there are going to be teams of South Koreans that say, okay, we're going to buy up the Waltz, we're going to buy up the Rissos, the Todds, and all of the amazing stuff. It will happen. Mark my words. We have Raul Paul. He says, quote, NFTs are dead. Think again. And then he goes off on like a 90-second tangent on what he's buying for NFTs is mostly art. And he said that this is just a new generation of it. This is the next evolution. As far as art, I mean, I know we have our Marvel, we have our DC, we have our Grails, but we have a bunch of wicked cool artists. Luke Chu, Gary Baseman, Ron English. We have all these amazing artists on here. And then there's these one-of-one artist proofs. We go over Secret Rare Spider-Man. We go over the gold logo, the Akomi Secret Rare logo. Is there anything that you see on here that's a bit of a dark horse? That's like, hey, this one, like with 1 of 7 Aston Martin, or the artist proofs, or any of the artist pieces that you might see go for big money?
So it really, that's hard to tell. Especially with the collectibles. So the augmented reality collectibles, I don't know how it's going to come together. Like we saw, what was the one, the Pride one that went absolutely crazy? Givenchy, is that how you say it?
Givenchy, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know how to say it, but that one went absolutely crazy in appreciation in January of 2022. And it would have been hard to predict that. So the digital collectibles, I'm having a hard time telling. Now, if you look at the comics, there's history to make some good guesses on the historical comics. On the brand new comics that are just releasing now that you have no history on, I don't know. It's going to take somebody with huge comic background to be able to make somewhat good predictions there. And that's not me. So in general, like I continue to collect things I like in VeVe, but I'm putting more money into OMI than I am in the digital collectibles. because OMI, I think the price has been so punished, it's just an easy bet for me to take. Whereas the digital collectibles, I wish I knew comics, like, you know, a bunch of people in the community have, like Sleep In Comics. I watch his channel and I try to absorb some of his comic knowledge, and other people in the VeVe community that really know comics, like comics and crypto, to try to guess which comics to buy. But a lot of these actual augmented reality collectibles, we don't know. So I've lent myself towards, like, I bought a bunch of Darth Vaders and Boba Fett's, because for Star Wars, those two characters have always done the best. So given everything else being equal, those two outperform. Yeah, I bought a bunch of Boba Fett's and Darth Vader's first appearances. And as far as the collectibles, other than that, I have a hard time telling. There'll be some that probably massively outperform that, but it's kind of a roll of the dice.
Yeah. I agreed. I can't wait for it to go. I'll buy all these collectibles. And what I'm really hoping happens, and obviously everyone wants Pokemon, but even if they do have it, I hope they don't really, like, Pokemon Day is literally in 2 days, like 36 hours from now. And a lot of people say, hey, maybe they'll announce something. And if they have it, I hope they don't. I hope they wait until OMI has done like a 10x from here, at least, because I want a Raxel. Yeah. How's it going? What you got?
Should I make some of your viewers mad?
By wearing glasses.
I'm just kidding.
Some people go off crazy because I got sunglasses on.
Yeah, I need sunglasses. I don't have sunglasses. I can with these bottle caps.
I'm trying to be as cool as Fernando, you know. Like, I was hanging out with him and I didn't bring my sunglasses. Dang it, because we're like twins. And I didn't bring my Stanley leather jacket either. I was like, no, perfect opportunity for great photos. So next time I see him, I have to bring my shades and the leather jacket so we can be twinners.
I love that man so heckin' much. Yeah, hopefully we'll see him. Hopefully San Diego. Hopefully that should be
definitely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, but she came in and brought me some dinner sweets. So I was like, anytime she interrupts me on the live stream, I grab her and I have her come say hi to everyone.
Of course.
I'm going to be bringing her more to the VeVe events.
Yeah.
I never get to come. I'm like, baby, it's because I'm dollar cost averaging more and I'm spending as little as possible. I tell my audience to do that. I do that myself. So she's like, what? It would only be an extra $1,500. And I was like, do you realize what that $1,500 will turn into when invested properly? Like $150,000. So, baby, I love you, but I'm not paying $150,000 for you to come with me to New York Comic Con.
I'm worth it.
You got to play that song, baby. I'm worth it.
Yeah.
And even though that is likely true, what I really like about what Rain said is, like, babe, I am doing this. I tell my audience to do the same thing, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. It reminds me of a story about Gandhi. This woman travels with her son. It takes her like days to walk to where Gandhi is. And she says, Mr. Gandhi, my son will not stop eating candy. He keeps eating the sugar. Can you tell him to stop? He won't listen to me, but he'll listen to you. And Gandhi says, bring him back next month. And she's like, I travel all this way, but okay. And then later next month, he goes in, brings him back, same thing. And then Mahatma Gandhi says, listen, son, sugar is very bad for you. You should not be eating it. And the mom's like, thank you, but you couldn't have said this like the first time. And he says, I'm sorry, but last month I was still eating sugar. And he didn't want to go in. Yeah. I was like, that's like one of my favorite stories. But obviously there's so many stories about him. But I like that Rain does that because it's a great attribute of great
That
achievement.
won't be the case after this next bull run, because I'll set up some long-term assets that like pay out money so that I'll live quite lavishly. It'll be somewhat extravagant. But after 2 bull runs that you're prepared for, I know. The mess is like, yes, I still drive a way cheaper vehicle than she does. And it's funny.
But my job, I need.
She needs a more expensive vehicle than I do. But I have a cheap one. Who cares? for now, right? But later it'll be quite extravagant. So people will then be like, "Oh my gosh, Rain, you're crazy." I'll be like, "Well, when you can, you can." So
I'm very glad that you're going to do that. I'm going to take a different route, and I'm just going to get really weird with it. I'm going to have.
I'm
gonna have
actually
these,
not surprised.
I'm gonna have these Pokemon backpacks. I'm going to get crazy tattoos. I'm going to have this massive hats that you used to wear in the 1920s. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get something for Dashy. Oh yeah, I'll bring Dashy everywhere.
Like a little leash.
Dashy never dies.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see what you do. I think this bull run is going to be massive this year, and a lot of things. The U.S. turning pro crypto is going to be a really big deal.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I think so as well.
Bye.
Bye, Rexel.
Have fun.
Of course, there's a horse. So Big A says that his only gripe with the VeVeverse right now is that it's not a true metaverse without a common space people can load into with portals to everyone's personal space. That one addition would be huge. I think it's possible. So be advised, Big A, that this is VeVeverse version 1.0, and there's going to be likely several updates over, like probably a dozen or so updates over the next few years. When do we get the first update? When is that specific update going to come? It could be several months from now. It could be next year. Could be next Bull Market. I have no idea, but I would wager that is coming. What are your thoughts on that? Right? You play a lot of video games. You play a lot of, these AAA games.
You're exactly right. Like it'll first they'll have their first iteration rolled out, which I hope just really expands what was successful with the vault. It makes it easier for people to go into your vault, essentially. So an expanded vault, and other people can come see what your vault is about. I don't even care if people can't see each other simultaneously in there. I don't care. I just want people to be able to come in and check out your vault and walk around. If you can have up to 40 people in there at the same time, or 20, that's awesome. Cool. But like, I just want you to be able to share your vault on your socials, and then people can go in your vault and see what other people took their time to set up, because I think people will be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Then they'll want to get a vault, and they'll want to get VeVe collectibles. So the VeVeverse can actually help this idea of how cool these collectibles are spread if it's easy to share on media. So on social media, if you can easily share it with everyone else, then it will go even more viral in an environment where I think it's going to go massively viral.
Agreed. Wes says Randy's still wearing his leather jacket, so OMI won't go up. I will wear this leather jacket until Devi does a nice big up, and then once that happens, I'll buy all the OMI I can, and then I'll take it off, and then maybe superstition will turn correct.
Devi to $70 in 3 months would be great, and OMI still exactly where it's at.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I could hold till $70. I'm gonna be selling a bit at like 18, 25.
Mm-hmm.
But we shall see. Wealth of Us says Rain is now my role model. I'll have the hood version. We love Rain. So we have a little bit, and I don't know if this is a tease or not. Probably not. Sergio goes on and posts, says, imagine if these were VeVe digital collectibles, and he puts on the Ninja Turtles, and then David responds saying Ninja Turtle heart. I think that's just him saying that he's a fan, but it might be a tease. What do you think?
Well, it must be a tease, because like they don't leak that kind of stuff. It would be amazing to see high level quality renders of the Ninja Turtles like that. I would love to see it, but that could easily be faked, and probably is, right? If it wasn't faked and it hadn't been officially released, then David would not be commenting on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is from a thing called Warzone, and then so that's what O'Malley posted. He posted the Warzone, and he's like, "Hey, these would be great if these were on VeVe."
Okay.
And then David was just saying that he loves the Ninja Turtles. I think that's what that was. Yeah,
that would be super fun to have the Ninja Turtles on there, and like I guess the other characters too, but the Ninja Turtles are the best there. And being able to move them around, what would be fun is to be able to also switch out what weapons they're holding and place the weapons at different places in them. And hopefully down the road, VeVe has the ability to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Big A says, yep, I know this is the first step, and it's a really great first step. Was just saying social aspect is what's going to keep people there. So I hope common area is one of those things next to come. Yeah, I hope so too. I wonder if you'd be able to tag common areas or like find a common area, be like, I remember my friend Dennis, when it was LA Fitness that just opened. He was like the first one there, and he was like going around like touching all the machines because he wanted to be the first person to touch everything. Like, all right, a little weird, but I feel like if they do have a common space that does open up, and if people could donate stuff there, and if things are donated, then it stays forever. And then people can go and say, "Oh, I donated this chair. It's my chair now." And you kind of leave your mark on there. I think that's a good way for people to donate. I think it's a good way to kind of have an empty VeVeverse and have people fill it up with their own artwork. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. Anyway, going over the campaign leads. Elementary school stuff. Sorry, those Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy bought another 20,000 Bitcoin. He's now up to 499,000 Bitcoin. Obviously, you have all these ETFs for Solana, you have Cardano, obviously Bitcoin and ETH. When do you think there'll be a metaverse ETF?
9 months is my guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Under Gary Gensler, it was never going to happen. Under the current administration, it'll probably happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, OMI should be included in that, especially if it's 9 months away. Hopefully they...
OMI on Coinbase. And if the digital collectibles narrative hits by then and the metaverse is taken off, then I could see that being the case.
I mean, that would be great, because then if the metaverse hasn't hit by then and the digital collectibles now, then God, we could be stacking OMI for we could have not me and you, but 2 people can go and have get married, get pregnant, have a baby in that time before that runs. And oh God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, 9 months from now would put us right near the end of the year, and it'll probably happen before then. I don't think we have that much time. I think this is the total kick in the groin before the market's ready to take off. So sometimes it kicks you while you're down, kicks you in the ribs 5, 6, 7 times, then it kicks you in the groin. It's final blow, and it gets tons of people to capitulate. It wipes out a bunch of longs, and then the market takes off right when everyone's saying, oh my gosh, it's over, the bull market happened, no altcoin run, and then it happens right in front of their face.
So that I think I mentioned Believes Crypto before. He's a big DeVe poster. He posts a lot about DeVe, and I think I was interviewing him last month or maybe earlier this month. I was like, I was talking about Tammy. I was like, oh yeah, my friend's selling her house and she wants to get into crypto, and maybe by the end of February, even end of March now, she might be able to get some of that DeVe. Do you think she has some time? And he's like, no. He was no thinking time on that. It's like, no, market's going to turn around. Market's going to go nuts. And yeah, I guess it very well could. I just, I don't want to, I feel like I need more time to stack. I wish we had that superpower to go in and prevent things from happening, which I think one other ace that the bears might have and the manipulators might have is that, do you remember a few months ago when Willow came out, which is the quantum computer chip that Google had, and everyone's like, oh, this could hack Bitcoin, and Bitcoin took a dip. Microsoft just announced that they have created a new phase of matter that only exists at the quantum level, and they're using it for quantum computers. Do you think that these technologies, especially if gifted with AI, that are greater than blockchain, that could go and hack these things, do you think that could affect the market enough to where Bitcoin sees a 30% haircut and alts see a 60-70% haircut before we go up? Or is that hey, the fear is done?
No, I think we're too close before. I think the run happens before that that possibility may happen.
Yeah.
So I think we're just, who knows? We may be weeks away from a bigger run. We may be months away, but AI is getting pretty sophisticated, and AI combined with quantum computing, who knows what that can do to blockchain and crypto in a year and a half from now or 2 years from now. But is that going to come together in the next 9 months or less? Probably. My guess is no.
No.
And can it hack Bitcoin? I don't know. If they can run different, if they can find like an address, say they go to one of those Satoshi Nakamoto addresses that are thought to be held by him, and they just go to guessing the seed phrase, and they try, they can use the quantum computer to guess 70 bazillion iterations of it in a matter of like 10 minutes till all of a sudden, oh, we found it. And then all of a sudden could spend that Bitcoin. Then that would mean nobody's Bitcoin wallets are safe right then until they come out with some way to make it quantum safe. And then you hurry up and transfer your Bitcoin to something that's quantum safe. So that'll freak everyone out for a while and possibly crash the network, Bitcoin's network. There are other things like VeVe that I mean, this is the problem with decentralized. Decentralized is amazing. Fully decentralized is amazing and scary at the same time because there's nobody to reverse it. Now, centralized is scary too because it's like centralized is great as long as you can trust the people in charge of that. But as you've learned with institutions, you can't always trust the people in charge. Decentralized is crazy because if somebody hacks your wallet, there's nobody with the power to give it back to you. So there's trade-offs. So it's not like one is preferable. There's just trade-offs. And it's good in this world that we have the decentralized options. But I think in the future, people will juggle some of their assets in decentralized things and some in centralized things. So there is some administrator that they feel that they can trust that can reverse things.
And that's where the DEVI exchange comes in, where they're able to go in and operate like a SEX and a DEX as well, because they don't take custody of it. DEVI to the moon. Sorry, I know this is an OMI show, but I just get really excited. That'd be really cool for Tangem too. And be like, can't hack the seed phrase, or seed phrase don't matter if you don't have these cards. Yeah, I would say there's opportunities everywhere. What I was saying, is it possible we have 4 more years to stack OMI at these prices? I don't think so, but what are your thoughts on this?
It's a possibility. I'd give it this much possibility out of this. But it is a possibility. It's just kind of like Dumb and Dumber being like, so you're saying I have a chance? He does. He's got like 2 million or something chance.
Yeah. Eric Maz says, you said something important, Crypto Rain, about the security scare. Web 2 is more vulnerable than ever now, only a matter of time to use blockchain for authentication. Quantum is further out, in my opinion. Yeah, do you think everything goes on the blockchain in the next 10 years?
So now that things like DEVI make the transaction speeds possible, I don't know that everything will go on the blockchain, but much of everything. So not everything needs to be on a decentralized public ledger. I think there's a case to be made for more centralized system, like DEVI is a permissioned blockchain. And I think a lot of corporations and institutions will go to permissioned blockchains. Some things will make sense to go to permissionless blockchains like Cardano and Solana, things where anybody can write to it. Permission blockchain is you have to have authorization to be able to write transactions to it.
Yeah. Copy that. There is, Foster Hill goes off and says, he re-quotes Tales from the Future, saying the VeVeverse may be the single biggest catalyst to drive interest and engagement of digital collecting that the space has ever seen. Hundreds of brands and IP at your disposal. The depth of creativity will only be limited by your imagination. The future is bright. What does your imagination say? What do you want? What do you want out of the VeVeverse? Oh God, hiccups.
We'll see how cool it is, right? So if you could buy like Jabba the Hutt's palace, or there was a way that you could buy the components to make it. So imagine Roblox goes, or Minecraft goes VeVeverse, right? And you can sit there and create Jabba's palace, and then you put your Jabba in there. You can put your different characters, C-3PO and R2-D2, and Leia in her metal bikini. I was totally in love when I was like 8 years old. Then Yeah, I mean, that would go crazy. Is it going to be that? Not in the short term. I think people are going to go crazy for their digital collectibles as everyone starts focusing on digital, right? So Star Wars, Marvel, all these great IPs, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing! Why didn't I know about it?" And there'll be so much FOMO into it. The VeVeverse, I'll have to see how it's rolled out to know if I think it's ready to really help adopt. The number one thing I want to see is then make it easy for people to share their vaults essentially on social media, because that will help it go viral and really augment a run that I think is going to happen anyway. But that will just be like pouring gasoline and kerosene and jet fuel onto a raging bonfire.
Jeff will can't sleep in. No, sorry. Yeah, that'd be great if they had a share button. The share button just going right to X, right to Instagram, Facebook, and all that. I'd love that. And so there's. Do you know about the Doritos commercial challenge that they had for the Super Bowl?
No.
So this is on a really big budget, obviously. Doritos had said, "Hey guys, send us a 30-second commercial that you have for Doritos, and whichever one wins, we'll play it at the Super Bowl, and you'll win $1 million."
Oh my gosh, nice.
And my friend knows the person that did it. Hey, I'm right back with that $50 super chat. OMI, Essence, Eat Domains for the win. We'll get to that in a second. So my friend knows the one that won, the person that won. It's him and I think his dad. And if a Comey or VeVe or whoever were to do something like that, saying like, "Hey, for the launch of this or X, Y, and Z, give us your best OMI, like 30-second OMI or VeVe, whatever, and then we'll go in and we'll choose one, and whoever has." There's going to be multiple that are really great. There's going to be some that are trash, obviously, but there's going to be multiple that are great. And the top 2 get like 30 million OMI or something like that. I feel like you'll get people that are not in the community to go in and be like, "Okay, what do I need to do to make this?" And even if they don't do it with OMI, I guess that you could have the option, because if people outside of it get OMI, they're just gonna like sell it.
They could make a really cool award that they could give out, and they could call it season 1 or season 2, season 3, or whatever related to the award. And so then, and maybe there's a gold, silver, and bronze award, and it would drive so much creativity. Do you know that that's how space flight was privatized? And that's how they privatized like air flight. So the government ran a competition. So if you think about it, why are there all these videos of people trying to fly planes in like the early 1900s? And there's crowds there and everything. And back then, video was really hard to do. So why is there so much video of like all these failures? Have you thought about that?
I hadn't until you just, but now obviously it clicks. Oh, that's why there are these videos. That's why you have all these people trying.
Because there was this criteria that they put out this prize, and it was called like the X Prize or something. I forget the name of it, but like the prize was substantive. And they said you had to have a big crowd, you had to have it videoed, and you had to maintain flight for like 30 seconds or 60 seconds or something. So you had to have these criteria to win. And so that's why all these attempts are videoed. However, unleashed so much creativity, far more than what was paid for. If the government had just taken that money and said, let's spend $1 million or whatever, it might have been $1 million at the time, which would be like 50 million today. And I forget what the numbers were, but they got so much research out of that money that if they had just paid some scientists to work on it, they wouldn't have gotten near as far. So it was a brilliant idea. They did that again back in like 2003 or something with the XCUT prize. And the people who won it, I think, got merged, like they sold part of the thing to Virgin, which created Virgin Galactic. And the people that got second also had big money come in. So unleashed all this entrepreneurship in creating manned space flight, private manned space flight, up into the space, and there were certain things they had to hit. So if VeVe does a competition like that, it would be a brilliant idea, because it will unleash so much creativity and so many cool ideas that the best of them will be incredible for what they're spending to do it. It would be an amazing idea. And even if it's a really cool digital collectible, there will be like a status with that like it won't cost them much to do, but the status associated with it, if they make it really cool, and then you can show it on your vault of like, you know, I won this year, there'll be an amazing status related to it. Why not do that? That would be a brilliant idea.
I like the idea of that as well, especially where you can go and show all of the sales that are on VeVe on the website for the one-of-one artist proofs, thousands of dollars every single time one of those sell. And then they could say like, hey, here's one that isn't an artist proof. It looks okay, but it's a one-of-one. It was for the charity that VeVe had done for the LA fires. And that still went for like $9,000. And it's like, and this is one that was not, and again, it looks fine. It looks good. Very happy someone did it. But when you get these types of things, like, hey, you're going to be gifted a one-of-one, several $1,000s, if people wanted to sell it. I think that's a really good idea. I was just thinking OMI, but then I was like, okay, well, if it's people outside, they're just going to sell. We don't want downward pressure on the token. But yeah, these we could work on it obviously, but this would be a great idea to pitch to VeVe.
Yeah.
Raythax saying OMI, Essence, and ETH domains for the win. Yeah, preach, friend. You made a lot on those ETH domains. You made a lot on Axie Infinity Earth 2. He's got a bunch of OMI and Essence. I think those are his big plays for the for this cycle. Raythax, you got to get into some Devi. You got to get a little bit. It's like 70 cents now. I got to get that bread. Anyway, anything you wanted to go over before we bounce out of here?
Well, overall, like crypto is on fire. And like Abe was saying, right? He's like, I love that it's on fire. OMI's on fire. Great. I run into burning buildings. Couple things. Like it is massive buy time right now. This is time to be accumulating, not selling. Now, I'm in this weird situation. I'm having to sell some because I'm buying a house and I was just going to pay cash for it. But I'm like, F no with prices where they are. So I'm borrowing 2/3 of the money, but I still have to liquidate enough to come up with 1/3. And I'm like dying over it because it is not sell time. This is buy time. And what I'm selling is massively up from what I paid for it. But it's frustrating as hell because I know that pretty much everything's going to go, depending on what it is, 10, 20, 30, 50x from here of the stuff that I'm holding. And so the true cost of that home is crazy to me. But it's just when you're married, you make different choices than you can when you're single. Just is what it is. It's an amazing time to buy this as a gift. I think the bull market isn't very long away. And I'm just like, man, timing on this is just bad. If it could have been 2 months down the road that our lease was up and I didn't want to move to someplace for 2 months or whatever. Like, I'm just like, I hate moving. I've moved far too many times. I've had so much delayed gratification. I am like looking forward just to be in my own place again. And then I can stay there as long as I want till I'm ready to get that crazy mansion. So like it's buy time, not sell time. And buy the things that you're researching that you have a good feel at. What I do like about crypto, and there was a fun video by Alex Becker earlier today, and I liked it. He was like, I think his thumbnail was like, you know, Bitcoin's going crashing and stuff, but his actual talk is like, this is crazy buy time. Like this is amazing buy time, and people that are selling right now are absolutely crazy and they don't get it. And this is where people make their massive money, is buying in days like this, not selling in days like this. And he's absolutely right there. He has all these cool disclosure. Alex Becker is like the king of good disclosure. He's like, don't listen to anything I say. It's total trash and you'll lose all your money. But, and then he says, you know, whatever. So funny as heck, but he's right on that. It's good buy time.
Good to know. Good stuff. Yeah, I would say fortune can favor the bold. I forget which movie this is from. I think it was Matt Damon who said, if you don't have money out there, you are not going to lose it. But you don't make that much either. And again, this might be for a little bit, a lot of this is cowboy behavior. A lot of this is kind of just men trying to amass wealth because that opens a lot of doors for them. And that's great. But also, this is a lot of fun. Like, if this wasn't fun, like I wouldn't do it. I'd just be like, okay, make money, go to do the high risk lending thing, do whatever. But this stuff is exciting. And back on,
great idea by VeVe Ben for the VeVe price, sweet collectible in your name in the Hall of Fame in VeVe City each year.
Yeah.
Fantastic idea. I love that. I would especially love it if they had a first prize, second prize, third prize. That way, like there's multiple people get recognized. It just encourages somebody gets the silver. They're like, dang, that was so close. And then they put even more effort in the next year. But that idea isn't going to cost them very much. Would be fantastic to really generate cool videos of like vaults and creativity. More money be spent on vaults. Amazing idea. You know, you can write the checks, the royalty checks for that idea to both Randy, myself, and Doctor of Stuff.
I think that would be fun. So Matt Gondek had a interesting idea of these NFT bats, like the baseball bats, not the, you know,
Okay.
bats. And he said, like, if you buy the NFT, like you buy something and then you decide you can burn the NFT and then take the physical bat, or you could set the bat on fire and then take the NFT. I was like, oh, that's really dope. That's a cool idea. I think it'd be cool if there was something like that. Or maybe we'll get both. It could be the year number. Like you go into like a professional sports stadium, they have the years and flags up of the years they won the championship, whether it's hockey, whether it's football, and that type of thing, to be, like Ben said, in that VeVe Hall of Fame. That'd be really cool. I mean, you could get in there by, you know, being maybe like a level 100, or maybe that's a separate Hall of Fame, or you can get there by, I would hope they have an influencer Hall of Fame as well. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, just to be there with, be able to create these things would be cool. I'm for it. Anyway, guys, that is gonna be it for us. Everyone, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. Thank you all for the super chats. I love you. End stream. Yeah.